This is Captain Mike Hankin of the Marshalltown Police Department. With us today on At Your Service will be Marshalltown Chief of Police Mike Tupper and Marshalltown School Resource Officer Craig Lagesholt. Officer Lagesholt and Chief Tupper will be speaking with us about the SRO program, or School Resource Officer, a vital function of the collaboration between the school district and Marshalltown Police Department.
School Resource Officer programs are valuable to police agencies because they help us build relationships with students and teachers and parents and other community members that we might not be able to establish those types of relationships otherwise. Unfortunately, the nature of police work many times we're reacting to problems, and the only time people really interact with the police is when something bad has happened to them, or maybe they've done something silly behind the wheel of a car. So these types of programs help us build positive relationships in the communities and have those positive interactions that we don't always get on a daily basis. Having Craig Lagesholt at the high school has been a great help to us since I've been here. Over the last 2.5 years, he's just done an outstanding job as our school resource officer. He has an excellent working relationship with not just the school staff, but the students as well that he interacts with every day. And it's just been a really valuable resource. And I think having the presence of a police officer in the school helps prevent problems, helps us be proactive in addressing problems when they do come up, and it actually decreases our calls for service, because if that officer wasn't at the high school, certainly there would be times that we would have to send police officers to the school, and that would take away from what other activities we can get involved with during the day. So it's been a great program. I think I know Craig is very much respected at the high school and very well liked, and he's just done an outstanding job. Now, like I said, I've been here 2.5 years. He's been the only SRO that I've worked with since I've been here, but I know that this has been a valuable program in the city of Marshalltown and the Marshalltown School District for many years.
My name is Craig Lagesholt. I'm a police officer with the city of Marshalltown. My current assignment is the School Resource Officer for the Marshalltown School District. My main post is here at the high school, but if the other buildings need assistance with something, I'll help them out too, but my office is here at the high school and spend most of my time here. My main function is the safety and security of the building, the students and staff, but I do assist the administrators with other jobs that they have, with office referrals if kids get sent down there for violating school rules. I've been doing this position for 2.5 years. I'm in the middle of the 3rd year here, and I've been a police officer for almost 8 years. It'll be 8 years at the end of March. I'm originally from Marshalltown. Graduated from Marshalltown High School in 2002. At that time I knew I wanted to be a police officer, but the School Resource Officer program was not going at that time. Never really considered coming back to the high school as a police officer, but now that I'm here, it's been interesting at first to work with some of the same teachers that I had when I was a student here, but it's actually helped me quite a bit to know the building, know the staff, get to know new staff. So my main purpose is the safety and security of the students in the building, staff. Aside from that, it's making sure that the hallways are clear, assisting the administrators with behavior issues if there are some, just keeping an eye on students throughout the day, like in the cafeteria during lunchtime, helping provide supervision at that point, monitoring the parking lots. There's a fairly new camera system in the building. I have access to that. I don't sit and watch the camera system, but it's more of a reactionary type thing, so if something happens I can use that to try to see what happened and figure out who did what and stuff. So other things that I do here, assist with the juvenile court liaison, with kids if they have issues with their probation, talk to parents about what their students have done and what the next steps are, help them through getting started in the juvenile court process. If they have questions about drug use or abuse, getting them through to Satusi, or just educating the parents on what some of the things they can be looking for to keep an eye on their children. Do a couple of classroom presentations throughout the year. This year I've done ones on cyber safety. I've talked about the Bill of Rights to the government class. Every year I do the Every 15 Minutes program, which is where alcohol awareness program, where we do a mock accident for students, just to kind of see the effects of what an alcohol related accident can be. And then in the other buildings we do bike rodeos, and like I said, that's kind of more of if a teacher wants me to come, I'll be more than happy to come and speak with their class. During the summertime, I just started a program last year for students called the Marshalltown Police Department Student Academy, kind of a play on Police Academy, and that's for middle school students, and we talk about good character traits, we work on physical fitness, do some community service, and then they also get to learn about policing from guest speakers, from anything from K-9 to CSI to a member of the SWAT team comes and talks to them and stuff. So that was for the first year, last year, I think that went really well, and we'll continue that this year. Some students, there's kind of question why a police officer needs to be in the building, but for the most part, my relationship with the students is great. And it's helped outside of the school too, like during the summertime, or if I'm having to work an extra event or something like that. The students come up to me and talk to me, and that's great to have that interaction in the community. They're willing to provide information, and I would say that's been one of the biggest changes that I've seen since I started here about 3 years ago, is that I think the students have become more trusting of both me and the administration. They're starting to tell us about things that they see that they don't like if there's a student using drugs, or a concern that they have about safety and things like that. So they'll come and talk to us, and I think having that here will benefit a lot later on in life for them, if they have any interaction with police and stuff too. So hopefully they'll be more trusting of police at that point.
Well, I can speak to the 3 years that I've been with Officer Lagersholt, and first and foremost, he is a police officer with the Marshalltown Police Department, has a very special assignment here at the high school as our school resource officer. Fills many capacities, but first and foremost, he's here for the safety, protection and well-being of students and all staff. But he really is an advocate for the students. The way that I like to view Craig, his communication style, his demeanor, the students know that he is a police officer, but at the same time he does a lot of teaching and educating our students and staff about school-related issues, particularly in relationship to harassment and bullying, should the need arise, and does from time to time. Myself and other school officials need to turn a disciplinary matter over to him to do the police end, whether it be drugs or alcohol or disorderly conduct and things like that. And so it's very reassuring to have Officer Lagersholt here. I know he's a resource to other buildings in our district as well, and does a lot of education for young people, bike safety, stranger danger, things like that. He plays a critical role in our, here at the high school, what we call our management team and our learning community. He serves both, all grades, so he sits on both learning communities. He attends our weekly management team meeting, and then from time to time we'll call him in for our administrative leadership team meeting as needed. He's ever present, helps us monitor the hallways, and if need be, go assist with students. Students respect Officer Lagersholt. They respect him, one, for his authority and his position, but how he carries that. He's not in any way intimidating or threatening or anything like that, but he's very open. He's a good listener. He's even gone above and beyond his job responsibilities in helping students, advocating for students, getting students connected with resources in our community. He even volunteers at time to case manage a student where we have a challenge where we want to help a student to improve their academics. He's mentored them to that success. So that's a lot more than what we expect of Officer Legasholt. He does special programs in our classrooms, in particular our government classes, where he talks about the law and law enforcement, and so the kids really respect him. And then he does a lot of other extra, from time to time we'll have special assemblies about drinking and driving. He facilitates and organizes all of that. Under the leadership of Chief Tupper, we have seen such a tremendous collaboration and communication, direct communication from the chief himself, and then other times through Officer Legasholt with the captains and the lieutenants. And the times that we have worked with them have all been very, very positive, and the follow through is tremendous. And that, again, extends from the very top all the way down to the school resource officer who works with us every single day. And we have a lot of trust in each other, and that makes a big difference. And again, it's tremendous reassurance knowing that we have an officer in the building, a liaison to the police department, to answer questions and provide communication.
Captain Jones will be speaking to us about the newest Citizens Academy that the police department will be hosting here this year, and he'll be talking about the topics to be presented this year and how you too can become involved.
I'm Chris Jones. I'm the Administrative Services Captain for the Marshalltown Police Department and coordinator of the 2014 Marshalltown Citizens Academy. Our Citizens Academy started consecutively for the last 5 years. We introduce somewhere between 20 and 30 citizens, citizen volunteers, into our program each year and discuss a variety of different operational topics from our police department and get people involved in our day-to-day operations and have a chance to have officers meet citizens on a one-to-one basis and kind of allow them to teach people exactly what we do within our department. This year we're going to start our program on March 18th, and it goes for 10 consecutive weeks to May 20th. The sessions are on Tuesday evenings from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And they, at the conclusion of the session, there'll be a graduation where the citizens who participate will have a choice or chance to be as part of our volunteer program within our police department. Police department volunteers help us within the department with special events and tasks around our agency to help us serve the community better. Some of the topics that we're going to learn about this year involve our police canine program, drug interdiction program, traffic stops, the building searches, crime scene processing, field sobriety testing, but they also get practical experience in handling handguns and firearms training and defensive driving. I think the citizens that have been here previously, they've enjoyed the program very much. It's a very positive program for our police department, and people get to gain some experience in knowing the officers that are on the streets doing the job every day. I think when people leave the program, they have a better insight about some of the things that the officers have to engage in the public each and every day. I think that they're very aware of the difficulties some of the difficulties that we have within our community and some of the things that we have to do both from a community service standpoint, but from a serious and more dangerous standpoint. I think they get a better insight of just how you can become a police officer and what a police officer goes through on a day-to-day basis. I think the biggest surprise is the attention to detail that the officers bring and the passion that the officers are bringing to what they're teaching. And for example, when you're discussing a traffic stops, all of the little tiny things that an officer has to be aware of, and in conducting it safely, both for the citizen and the officer, and a lot of the things that people just don't take into account when they're being stopped and talked to. An officer either gives them a ticket or talks to them or has public contact, that the officer is always aware of all of the things that go on. And I think the complexity of the position and the professionalism of our department and the officers, all the way from our command staff down to the line officers, it impresses the community. I think that's the biggest part that they enjoy. We typically will have classes range between 20 citizens and 30. This year we're hoping to get 30. We have one session this year that we're doing a little bit different than previous years, is we're having a track program where a citizen can pick the specific topics they want and break up into smaller groups to have a little bit more hands-on experience than we've done in the past. So we won't have as much lecture this year, and we'll have a little bit more practical and hands-on experience. From being and looking at other police academy programs from other departments, and also our Marshalltown Fire Department Police Academy, I think it would be a benefit to have community members be more involved in what goes on rather than listening to the officers provide lecture. The application process will go up until March 3rd. I have an application, so if anybody was interested in the program, they can email me at my city email address at cjones@ci.marshalltown.ia.us, and I can provide them with some information about the program, but then also an application. But the application deadline is March 3rd. One of the things that benefits our department is we can allow all of our officers to get involved in the program at some level, and they receive training experience by talking with citizens, but it also gets them an opportunity to meet the public on a different level. We allow our officers to go out and teach different topics, but be able to interact with the community on a one-on-one basis, and be able to kind of loosen up a little bit and show everybody that volunteers in the program that they're regular citizens. They participate with their families in our community, and they're excited about their job and their position. I think it's a benefit for our community, but also our officers and their personal development.
My name's Brett Hand. Work here in town at Sports Plus and taking part in the Citizens Academy here for the fire department. Tonight I believe we're doing a lot of training with the hoses, learning how to run the hoses either to the hydrants, to the trucks, how to situate them depending on what type of structure we're going to, that type of thing. This is the second night. First night, last week we went through how to use all the gear, the breathing tanks and everything, and then we also did some training as far as how to go into a structure, how to search that structure, and do some things like that. So it's more just getting familiar with the gear. I took the Citizens Academy for the police department in the spring, really enjoyed that. And then also a co-worker of mine did the Fire Academy last year, really enjoyed it, and so just thought it was a good next step. Learn a little bit about what these individuals do, how they help the community, and then how we can help them.
Damn it, could you stand right there?
I catch you. Yeah, I got it. God knows there's nothing push me up to the property, but they all have it.
I'm Jane Yick, and taking part in the Marshalltown Fire Department Citizen Academy. Last time was the hardest. That one you had to put the mask on and you went through the smoke, and I get claustrophobic, so that was a difficult one to get through that. But all of it's extremely hard. It takes a lot of physical effort to accomplish all of it, and I'm not quite up to that, but it makes me appreciate even more what these guys do on a regular basis, guys and girls. So it's pretty amazing. Be a good thing for everybody to go through sometime. Last week was a test for me just because of the claustrophobic part of it, but this is fun and work both. Doing this tonight with the water, we've taken all the hoses out, and I'll tell you what, it's pretty good of the department to do this because we're creating more work for them to let us have the experience. So But it's both a lot of fun and a lot of work. I took the police academy or the police department Citizen Academy a couple years ago and really appreciated that opportunity to do it, to get to know some of the officers, and so I was looking forward to this being the same way, to get to do it. And here comes my husband now. He's getting the short end of the deal because he's having to do most of the labor. But it's just a great opportunity to know more about how it works for our community.
Sergeant Rick Belisle. This is Detective Sadie Weekly with the Marshtown Police Department. We are with the Academy, the Fire Department Citizens Academy that started last week. We were here last week. Today, unfortunately, we were honoring a officer that was killed in the line of duty in Rockville City, and that's where we were at. So we were at a funeral today. That's why we're late, and I have no idea what they're doing besides hose stuff today, so that's all I know.
We're just observing.
We're observing now because I don't have time to go up and get changed. Last class we went, we were dressed in full gear and we had to go inside a room with smoke and find a baby and bring the baby out. We did that twice. We reversed roles. We had to try to crawl through a hole of 14 inches, whatever.
Between two studs.
Between two studs. Yes. And then we came back here. That was all done at a house, empty house. Then we came back here and did, what did we do back here? We dragged a dummy 75 feet, and then we had to crawl through spaces like wires and stuff like that, which pretend wires, but had to make sure you can crawl through and back up and get through in case you get entangled. Just gonna watch them finish up today, and then next week see what happens. But otherwise, I think it's a very good thing to see, be part of.
Pull this all apart. This is a hydrant wrench. That piece you won't need for this one, okay? So take this, you're gonna thread it on here. Tight is relative. You can get it threaded on, but we're not looking for a perfect feel. Okay? Pull it this way, start cranking. Remember, it's all the way on, all the way off.
Okay, my name is Scott Johnson. I'm the Deputy Chief of the Marshtown Fire Department. And this is our second night of the Citizens Academy that you've been watching. We have a 5-class course. It's 4 Tuesday nights, and we finish on a Saturday morning. We have different evolutions that we do each night. And we have 8 Academy citizens that come and do our Academy together. Well, this is our 3rd annual, and it's been very successful. I think we've had, everyone that has attended so far has given us rave reviews on our Academy. It's a hands-on Academy, and it just gives people a chance to see what we do and maybe appreciate the job that the fire department does. So the first night, what we do is we just teach them how to put on all our gear, how to put on the backpack, put on a mask, breathe the air, and then we have them crawl around in some atmospheres just so that they get used to what that's like. Second night, tonight, we do some hose evolutions. We pull off hose off the truck, pull them to the hydrant, and upstairs, that kind of thing. The third night, we go out to the college site where we have a training facility, and we climb up and down the ladder, show them what our aerial ladder is like, get them a chance to climb that, and do some roof ventilation practice. The fourth night, we go down to a junkyard, and we get given 3 or 4 cars, and we show them how to use the jaws of life, and we cut up 3 or 4 cars, take tops off, take doors off, so that show them how we extricate people out of cars. And then finally, on the Saturday, we close out on Saturday, and we do live burns out at the college training site again. We have a car fire, We do a gas prop fire, and then finally we do a room and contents fire.
It was fun last week. It was a lot of work. I drank a lot of water. It was hot. It was sweaty, but it was very active. A lot of hands-on, and I really appreciate what the fire department does.
I've never liked that sign right there anyway.